What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to Spool Zone. So as you saw in the last video, I now have my built motor, my N54 inside my E92. This little coupe I've been working on for a year and a half or so. I got the relocated inlets onto here. That's from VRSF. And I just got these dual cone air filters, and if you saw in the last video, I didn't have them. Well, they're in now. The only problem is the way that I had the VRSF relocated inlets hooked up. These were definitely sticking up too high, so the hood's not going to shut. So right now I just had to adjust this clamp so that I could rotate this half of the inlet pipe a little bit down. So now I think it's going to clear. You can see it's just about touching here. My only issue is that it looks like the inlet is going to be touching the exhaust manifold for the turbo. So I'm thinking about somehow pulling this a little bit this way. Just a little bit like that. Just so it's not touching metal to metal. So I mocked them up. I had to adjust the inlets a little bit to ensure that the hood closes. It's going to be close, but we'll see. I got to put new gaskets on the intake manifold. As you can see, it's just mocked up here. I just had it sitting on the studs to see what it would look like. I am now going to torque down the motor mount, and you can see it's right here. This is the bolt I got to get to. I believe this is the right socket. Yep, and that is a 15. So I'm going to tighten that up now to 50 foot-pounds. As you can see, this is where the throttle body is going to connect to the intake manifold. It's going to sandwich right in between the charge pipe, and I have my Evolution Raceworks blow-off valve here from before the engine got taken apart. So I'm going to put that on, and then I also have the VRSF 7-inch intercooler. It's going to fit in front. So I'm going to start mocking some stuff up today, hopefully get some things sorted, and we're gonna get going, guys. If you like this content, definitely be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It means a lot and helps me to keep going with this thing. You got these 4 bolts holding the transmission bracket, 2 on each side. You got these nuts underneath the transmission mount, polyurethane itself from RevShift. Then you got nuts on top of each one. Then you got this Torx holding this bracket piece against the transmission, sandwiching this. So just made sure all that was torqued down, and as you can see, we got that shift linkage here into this, and so then we're gonna put the drive shaft up in here. So here are the bolts for the drive shaft. That's going to be drive shaft to the flex disc. Alright, so I want to give you guys a quick snapshot of what I'm doing here. So I got the torque wrench on this side with the 18 mil socket and an 18 millimeter box wrench in the back holding the nut. And basically what you're going to need to do, if you can't get access with the box wrench to the nuts on the top of the drive shaft because it's rotated too far up, what you want to do is lift one of the rear wheels off the ground to release the parking brake once you know the car is secure, and then you can turn the drive shaft so that you can get access to these bolts. Alright guys, so I put the drive shaft in. Now I have a box of these pulleys and stuff. I am going to start putting the pulleys back. Got the tensioner here. And this part here is kind of going to be centered in this black region there. So that's kind of a quick way. It's going to be about centered. It should be. See? Alright, now I'm going to put this one on, and these ones are the same size. So that's just going to go here. And as always, I'm going to try and thread it left first before I thread it in, so I know that it's not going to get stripped. Alright. This one's gonna go down here. This is bigger than all these 3 so far. It's just gonna thread in there. I'm torquing these to 28 foot-pounds. power steering pump pulley now. Just want to be careful with it. Definitely don't want it to cross thread. That one's good. They're all good now. So there's one bolt here, one bolt here, and then there's another one. You can see right here that screws it down into the oil pan area. Just cleaned up, and it's the carrier for the AC compressor. So I'll show you how it slips in. There's some dowels right there, one there and one there. So those slip in, one to the AC compressor, and it goes between the AC compressor and the engine. I'll try and get some video of me installing that now and see how it goes. There's 6 bolts total. You can see there's 3 of these. One's already over with the compressor, and there's 3 of these ones. And I'm gonna put those in now. I'll show you where they go. So as you can see, this spot right here, and you got this little dowel right there. So I'm gonna lift this up, get it to fit in there. Hopefully it's focused. Right there, basically. And then there's another one that fits in right there. Alright, so the first thing you're gonna wanna do is secure the carrier to the block. So there's 3, there's gonna be one there, one down there on the bottom, and then one back there. So do that now. Alright, now you can see I got these 3 bolts in, one there, one down underneath, and one on the back side. Next, I'm going to put this long bolt through the top of the AC compressor. It's going to go through here. So you really want to make sure that this lines up perfect. There's these dowels you got to fit into the carrier. There. There's one bolt right here connecting the AC compressor to this carrier here. There's gonna be one back here. I already threaded it in. And then there's also one at the top right here. I'm gonna try and wiggle that back there now. So just keep in mind when you're doing this that if you torque this all the way down, then it's going to leave very little bit of room here for the alternator to slip into. And this is where the difficulty comes in when doing an alternator replacement, because obviously you're not going to want to go all the way down here and take this out. So we were, with my other car, able to slip the alternator out and then put it back in. And we actually used the alternator for this car. So that's the reason I don't already have this mounted here. Otherwise it would be sandwiched in between here, the bottom piece. And I can show you what it looks like. It's right here. This one obviously doesn't work. Let me set up the tripod so I can show you. Like that. There's really not a whole lot of room to slip it in. Where's my lighting? There you go. So that's what you're working it with, trying to slip that little piece, slip that part of the alternator down through. Up top you can see where it goes here, and that's what it'd look like. And then of course the oil filter housing goes up top here. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Thanks for tuning into Spool Zone. We got the drive shaft all set, AC compressors on. I showed you guys how to work that alternator in, and just so you know, I was able to just wiggle it in without having to loosen up the carrier for the AC compressor. So it's definitely possible. I did it in the last video, and I just redid it for you guys here. It was off camera, but really all I did was knock it with my palm a couple times. You just got to get it in the right spot. But I'll show you the inside of the car, the cockpit. Check this out, guys. Yes, sir. Coral red interior. 6-speed. Got my custom tablet holder here that I have mounted to the cup holder. So if I want the passengers to see my gauges, I can just push it in. And when it's out, the cup holder is still functional.